Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Prepare to be obsessed with today's makeup video because I am bringing back one of my all-time favorite makeup looks. This is a look that I created on Megan Fox for the VMAs and it's unforgettable. It was definitely a viral makeup moment for me, and it's all about just focusing on those warm tones with softly sculpted skin. Now, some of the products that I used on the day that I did Megan Fox for the VMAs have been discontinued since then, but I'm replacing them with some of my favorites. I also have the most perfect model for this makeup look. Her name is Chanel Stewart, and make sure to check her out. Let's get into this Megan Fox VMAs makeup look. Prepping the eyes with my waterless foaming eye cleanser because eye care really is the new skincare. And if you have dry eyes, prepare to be obsessed. And if you don't, I'm sure you have fatigue from staring at your screen. And this is what will wake up and nourish your eyes. It's extremely hydrating, soothing. It keeps the eye area sanitized. And it really is such a preventative if you are someone that's more prone to getting styes. It just keeps the eye area very clean. And then applying my cooling eye cream right underneath the eye area, letting this sink into the skin. This is an amazing skin prep before concealer because it helps to prevent creasing, and I promise it'll be worth the wait. And then I'm going in with the Superfood Facial Oil to prep the skin. If you have dry skin, you will love this product. If you have very oily skin, you can skip this step. Now to lock in the glow, I'm going in with the Tatcha Dewy Milk Moisturizer. I have fallen in love with this moisturizer. This is incredible even if you have oily skin because it doesn't weigh the skin down, and I'm always looking for moisturizers like that increase the longevity but also keep the skin glowing. Applying a bit of Laneige on the lips just to let this kind of marinate into the skin while I do her makeup. First things first, I'm going in with my Morphe color corrector in the peach shade, and I'm just using this around the mouth area. I'm also using my Morphe brush number 132 to apply this product, and then I'm also going back and forth with my Morphe sponge. And you can see this really instantly wakes up and brightens the skin and neutralize any darker pigmentation that we're seeing underneath the eye area. And I'm mixing this with my Cosette Mixing Medium. Now this is a staple and game changer in my makeup kit because this actually thins out your foundations, but it also helps to increase the wear and longevity of your makeup. And I really find this essential because I like to apply makeup in thin layers, and this is keeping that base layer extremely thin. And of course I wanted Megan to look incredible from every angle, so we definitely brought the foundation down to the neck and the chest as always. And then once I've applied it with a brush, I like to go back in and then stipple slightly with the sponge to make sure that it's all pushed into the skin. With whatever's left over, I'm just kind of taking the foundation and basing the eyelid as well. To shade and sculpt the skin, I'm using the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer in the shade Medium Dark. And I always like to start on the cheeks and the jaw and just start sculpting those areas and then wrapping it around to the forehead. I love when products just mimic the look of skin and just enhance your cheekbones and accentuate your features, and that's exactly what this product does. I didn't want Megan to be overly sculpted because she has this naturally chiseled face, so I thought it was appropriate to just softly sculpt the skin. And especially for red carpet, you really never want to overdo it. As much as I love a glam look, I still want it to photograph extremely well. For concealer, I'm using my Morphe concealer in the shade Sand with the 132 brush. Now this concealer actually moves with your facial expression, so I find it to be extremely comfortable on the skin and doesn't really settle into fine lines as much as other concealers do. I find that putting it on the back of my hand first is best so I can really warm the product up in the brush, and that way I never clump too much product on the skin. A lot of the times you'll see makeup artists start off this way because we have more control over the products on our face. And then once I do the concealer, I like to go back with the same brush that I used to contour with and just kind of blend and marry everything together so there's no lines of starting and stopping. I also find it important to take your time with the blending. You really don't want to rush this step, especially when you're doing a red carpet look or you're doing makeup for a big event. It is so important to blend because that is what makes the makeup look more flawless. To set the under eyes, I'm using my Makeup by Mario loose powder in the shade Translucent, and noticed how I just used the sponge underneath the eyes and then I went in to set the under eyes. It's so important to blend with a sponge first before you set with a loose powder. That is what's going to give you a smooth under eye application. Always knock off that excess loose powder that you have on your powder puff or your brush. You can do this on the inside of your hand. That way you don't put too much powder onto the skin. I personally like to start setting the T-zone first, and then I will move to the outer areas of the face. That way I can still keep the skin quite glowy and dewy on the sides, but have more of a matted area in the center of the T-zone. Because I didn't overly powder the center of the face, I'm actually able to go back onto the skin with creams. So I am taking that same concealer with a small detailed brush, and I'm creating a line down the center of the nose. To set the cream contour, I'm going in with my Gucci bronzer in the shade 01 and just applying it with my Morphe M164 brush. Starting on the jawline just to set the shading, then softly setting the cheeks, wrapping this around the forehead, making sure that I bring this into the hairline, of course. And you'll see that I'm doing a combination of sweeping and stippling. I find that stippling prevents your contour or your bronzer from looking muddy. So make sure that you are stippling in your products. And any areas that I find that I might need a little bit more coverage, I'll take whatever is left over on my beauty blender and just start patting in those areas. Don't sweep, you want to pat, because when you sweep, you can kind of move the foundation or any product off of the skin and it can look muddy. So you want to make sure that you push it into the skin and then going back and setting that area. To lock in this makeup before we get to the eyes, I'm going in with my Morphe Continuous Prep and Set Mist. This makes the makeup look more like skin and gives you an all-day wear. Then I love locking it in with my fan. I always keep this in my makeup kit. It's such a handy tool to have. Using the same Gucci bronzer and an eyeshadow brush, this is actually a blending brush, I'm just snatching the sides of the nose and softly contouring where I've highlighted. I love bringing the nose contour into the brow. Sometimes I feel like this just gives more of a sultry look. Taking my Jouer Skinny Dip highlighter and just bringing this down the center of the nose, it gives the most beautiful glow. I'm taking my Kelly Baker brow pencil in the dark brown shade, and I'm just softly going in and creating strokes of hair. Chanel has really beautiful eyebrows. I'm just going to start to refine them a little bit more. And then setting the brows with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel in Clear. Now for my favorite part, let's get into this eyeshadow look. I love a warm bronzy tone, and these are all tones that I am obsessed with and use on all of my clients. There's so much more about this eyeshadow palette that I want to share with you, but just know that this will also be worth the wait. And notice the way that I blend out the eyeshadow. I love creating a more lifted, elongated shape, and you can create this shape with your blending brushes. The brushes that I'm using for this look are going to be the 331 Morphe brush, 302, 331, and 332. These are all incredible brushes to have in your makeup bag or makeup kit. I'm taking the lighter Bone shade from my eyeshadow palette and placing this on the inner corner of the lid. And then I'm using more of a skin tone shade, and I'm just softly buffing this in to the crease and also the lid as well. And with that same Bone shade, I'm just highlighting the brow bone, making it kind of pop out a little bit more. And then using this gorgeous scattered pearl and placing this with my fingertip. Sometimes our fingertips are the best tools, and that's because it picks up the product so well, even better than a brush can. But for the inner corner of the eye, I'm going in with the same setting spray, just misting my brush and picking up more product. And that's because I really want to make the inner corner pop, and I want to be more precise about the placement. I just can't get over how gorgeous these scattered pearl eyeshadows look on camera and in real life. It almost gives the illusion that your eyeshadow is wet, and nothing gets me more excited than that. With the same warm brown eyeshadow that I used in the crease, I'm also placing this right underneath the eyelashes. Tightlining the lower lash line with my Urban Decay Beige Flag Liner, and you can see how that instantly just opens up the eyes. For liner, I'm going in with my dual-ended ink liner pen. You guys know this is my favorite eyeliner to use, and I have one for all of my clients for sanitary purposes. Starting from the outer corner of the eye and creating a very small eyeliner flick. I prefer to slowly drag the eyeliner or pat the eyeliner into place to create a very precise line. And for lip liner, I'm using the most beautiful shade. It's like your lips, but better. It just gives that instant color to the lips. The formula is super creamy with an incredible wear. It just makes lining and contouring your lips so much easier because it doesn't skip and drag onto your skin. It's truly so hydrating, packed with pigment. I pretty much went in and filled her entire lip with this lip liner. Because it's so hydrating and creamy, it really mimics the look of a lipstick. But we're not gonna stop there. I'm going in with Tom Ford Sable Smoke. This is a nude lipstick, so it kind of brings back this really beautiful nude tone into the lips where you still see that your lip but better undertone. For blush, I've been loving this shade. It's Soft Strawberry by Summer Fridays, and it just adds so much more glow back into the skin and color. Applying it with my Morphe 204 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes for cream blush. And then to add even more glow back into the skin, I'm using the highlighter shade from my Shade and Illuminate Tom Ford palette that has been very loved, as you can see. I personally love applying my cream highlighters with a sponge onto the tops of the cheeks. I feel like it gives more of a flawless cloud-like finish. And with whatever's left over, I'm actually using it to soften up all of her makeup. This is exactly what I did on Megan, and this looked incredible in every photo. And then going back in and just doing some slight touch-ups with the loose powder underneath the eyes before lashes. For mascara, I'm going in with this Thrive mascara. And then for lashes, I'm using the No Filter Lashes by Kiss. These are the exact same lashes that I used on Megan Fox for this VMAs viral moment. And I went ahead and I trimmed them slightly and then placed them on the outer corner of the eyes. This is a very lightweight strip lash. Megan loves a strip, but we always trim it down to make it look a little bit more blended with her lashes and her eye shape. And you can just see how this makes the look come together. Lashes always complete the look. The other finishing touch to this makeup, so I'm going in with my Body Balm in the Bronze shade by Patrick Top Beauty. I hope you guys enjoyed my Megan Fox makeup tutorial. This will always be one of my favorite looks that I've ever created in my career. So please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this look. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and make sure to follow me on Instagram because that's where I post first. And I can't wait to see you guys next time.